A very good day to you and welcome to Spotlight with Kem. On Spotlight with Kem today, we have Dr. Betta Edu. Dr. Betta Edu is a medical doctor by profession and a practicing politician. Dr. Betta Edu is the APC National Women Leader. She was the former Commissioner for Health in her home state of Cross River State. She went on to become the chairman of Nigerian Health Commissioners Forum. In March 2022, out of passion for women, good governance, and a greater Nigeria, Dr. Betta Edu became the APC, Nigeria's ruling party's women leader. She's a multiple award winner, both as an exceptional youth, a medical expert, and a quintessential woman. It is pertinent to note that since the inception of the Fourth Republic across party line, Betta Edu is the youngest woman leader for a ruling political party. On Spotlight with Kem today, we speak with the APC National Women Leader in the person of Dr. Betta Edu. A very good day to you, Betta Edu, and welcome to Spotlight with Kem.
Thank you, Kem.
You have been the APC Women Leader since March 2022. In a few words, what has the experience been like?
It's been 1 year and 4 months of action, victories, push, energy, innovation, a whole lot on the table. It's not an easy feat to take women into an election, and of course, with the best candidate as at that time on the ballot, who today, thankfully to God, is the president of our country. For us, that is really the reward for all the hard work.
Congratulations on the victory.
Thank you.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And of course, you contributed largely to that victory. Let's ask, what were your key priorities at the time you became the women leader, and how far have you gone in 1 year?
So we tried to put our agenda into threefold. So the first fold was to ensure that women have better representation in politics, from the grassroots to our constitution, all the way up to elective positions, appointments, and employments that would altogether empower women and put us on the front burner. So that was number one agenda. Number two agenda was on women empowerment. How can we financially empower women? How can we build small businesses, encourage female farmers, and indeed beyond politics, get women to be financially empowered? Once they're financially empowered, they have some level of independence to take certain decisions. They can be able to attempt to go into politics, and we can get better leadership and representation. But most importantly, they're able to take care of their families. They're able to take care of their children. The third agenda for us was to actually provide for their welfare. So it was more like humanitarian, where we reach out to women who are downtrodden, women who are really out of the secular system. They have one disadvantage or the other. They might be disabled, they might be vulnerable, they might be persons of concern, they might not have health care. So we're ready to provide health care. Of course, I'm a medical doctor and I have to take my profession into whatever I'm doing. So we're offering free health services to women across the nation. We're providing several other palliatives to help women come out of the dark ages in society where they found themselves. So these were our agenda at the start, and we've done a whole lot to accomplish most of that.
Obviously, that's why your name is a household name, if I dare say so. However, this dispensation in the National Assembly has the fewest women representation.
Yes.
What went awry along the line?
Okay, so for our party APC, we kept our own social contracts with the APC women. First, we were able to review our constitution such that we could get women to be part of the delegates that voted at the state level, local government level, and even at the national level. out of every 5, 2 compulsorily were women. Out of every 3, 1 compulsorily was a woman, right? And the party didn't stop there. We went ahead to ensure that women were given free forms, nomination forms, to come into the space and participate and run for the elections. A lot of women got the free forms, and they all went forward to run. We went into the primaries and we followed through to ensure that for the first time in our party, about 95 women had the opportunity to run on the party ticket. Before now, it used to be about 20, 33, I think was the best we had done so far. We went above board to get about 95 women to run on the platform of our party across the nation. Now, at the level of the National Assembly and during the elections, a whole lot of dynamics happened. This was an unusual election for Nigeria. We saw very small players come to the fore as strong voices. We saw people who in time past you wouldn't even give a chance actually go to win, not necessarily because they were popular or because they had positively affected their society, but it was just a wave, and they were fortunate enough to be on the right standing in some areas of the country, and so it gave them the upper hand. Will I say, well, I would not want to say unfortunately, because most of our female folks came from the South.
Okay.
Yes, most of the female folks. So like Anambra had 12 female candidates. Ekiti had 5 female candidates. We had Lagos, we had Cross River, and several other states in the South that actually had the female candidates, right? We also had a few in the North, and most of them in the North actually scaled through. So like Honorable Zainab Gimbia in Brno, she actually won the elections. The Honorable House of Reps member in Yobe, she won her election. She was the only female that she won. In Brno, she was the only female she won. Just like that, those in the North actually survived the switch in dynamics, the unexpected. They survived it to win because the region was, in a way, typically stable. So most of APC won lots of states and still hold a huge control of the states in the North. So it favored those who ran from the North. But down South, especially in the Southeast, where we had lots of female candidates, it was affected by the dynamics that happened.
It's interesting you say this, especially about the victories in the North.
Yeah.
But if we were to take a look at the Adamawa case, for example, I don't know. I feel that quite a number of women were let down because they felt that this will be an opportunity to have the first female governor in Nigeria. And despite the fact that an announcement happened, right, declaring Senator Aisha Binani as the winner of that elections, it was overturned. And I don't know, but the way the law says it, usually after that announcement, I don't know the dynamics. Maybe you could help us with that.
So, number one, women in all sincerity looked forward to having our first female governor because we believe it's right about time. APC has given a lot of females the opportunity to be deputy governors. As we speak presently, the deputy governor of Ekiti State is a woman, deputy governor of Ogun State is a woman, deputy governor of Kaduna, even in the northern part of the country, she's also a woman. So we've had that, and we thought it is about time that a woman actually becomes a governor in Nigeria. And this really would help our development as a country, and it would give women that full confidence to really push forward in building a stronger Nigeria. Unfortunately, a lot went under the bridge, and I might not be able to speak in details right now because it's in court. I would believe that justice will be done.
Well, of course, if it's sub judice, then we shouldn't let you speak about it.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So, yes. So
okay.
we'll
let us take a look at the fact that you're the youngest women leader ever for a ruling political party. you're having to work with some people that are probably old enough to be your grandmother, and then possibly work with some people who are old enough to be your aburos and younger sisters, right? How are you able to balance both of them?
I think I've had to deal with that all my life.
Oh, really?
So when I was appointed as the special advisor to the governor of Cross River State, Governor Betta Edu, I was actually the youngest special advisor in Nigeria at that time.
Wow.
I was in my 20s. When I became the permanent director general of the Cross River State Primary Healthcare Development Agency, I was actually the youngest in the entire country. Even at that time, the present deputy governor of Kaduna was also the director general of primary healthcare in Kaduna, and I had colleagues who from different states. I was actually the youngest, and at that point, I was even the vice president of the Forum of Director Generals and Primary Healthcare Agencies in Nigeria. I went on to be the commissioner for health in Cross River, and I was obviously the youngest commissioner for health in Nigeria. At the same time, I was also the chairman of all the commissioners of health in Nigeria. So for me, age is just a number. It's more about your experience, your commitment to the work, and being able to carry everyone along. It's just showing respect to whom respect is due. And once you respect the people, they will respect you. And then most importantly is the fact that once you bring value to the table, once you have great ideas and innovation, you take the lead. People just naturally navigate towards you because they want to be part of a movement. They want to be part of a moving train. They want to be part of great innovations. They want to be part of commitment to building our nation. And so once they identify a leader who is poised to do that, a leader who is committed to do that, they're always right behind you to give you the support. Of course, from time to time, you have some dissenting voices here and there. You have a few opposition.
How do you manage that?
Oh, yes.
Because, you know, one of the challenges they say about women in politics is that women do not support women. And so there's always that, women don't support women, and so they're always at loggerheads. And then some people claim that men take advantage of that inability for women to fully support each other, you know, honestly support each other.
It's actually the truth that some women don't.
Would you say some or most?
I'll say some. I'll say some because the orientation is gradually changing. Okay, more women are beginning to support other women, knowing that they would only end up depriving themselves of the opportunity as women. Remember, when you go into that loggerhead and you begin to fight each other, at the end of the day, women lose. Women lose. So, of course, one or two might scale over the line, but most women will be dropped and they say, no, it's women, leave them. And everybody waits till the next 4 years when it's time for the next election, and they come back to pick the women up and go ahead with them, right? But looking at that and looking at it critically, it's unfortunate that women don't understand the power of unity. Like I said, some women don't understand the power of unity. It's unfortunate that some women feel intimidated by other women. Some women feel inadequate in the presence of other women. And some women feel that it should just be about them and them alone, right? Rather than the interest.
How are you changing that narrative?
Yes, so every day we continue to engage. It's an advocacy process. It's an orientation process. It doesn't happen overnight. It's going to take time, but we continue to engage. Women stand for women. Women support women. Women push women. That way, you have a seat at the table. That way, you're recognized. But when you go fight it, you only end up losing, and you go nowhere with it. So really for us as a people, as women in APC, we preach unity, and we want everyone to unite together for us to push a common front where we can get a lot of dividends from democracy.
We're going to go back to this thing you said about preaching unity, because I do know that there is a bit of a furore, you know, in the air right now, but we'll get back to that. I want to quickly backtrack to you being the vice president of the directors of primary health, healthcare practitioners in Nigeria, right? Okay, primary healthcare CEOs in Nigeria. Okay, you were also the national chairman for the health commissioners across Nigeria. What drove you to these politics? Because at the end of the day, it takes some politics, to get that far. So how did it go? Let's take a backtrack.
I think one is God's favor, and then secondly is my ability to show my colleagues that I was interested in the joint improvement of the entire firm and healthcare in Nigeria.
Okay.
So healthcare is my passion. I didn't read medicine for money. I didn't read medicine to answer doctor.
But you're playing politics now.
Doctorate? Yeah, I'll tell you why I read medicine.
Okay. Well, listening.
I read medicine for humanitarian reasons. Wow. I used to join my dad back in the day. He's a missionary. I used to join him back in the day to go into remote areas across this nation.
Was he a doctor too?
No, he's not.
Just a missionary.
Yeah,
wow.
Missionary. So he preaches the gospel of Christ, and then he offers people help, drugs, try to treat ailment. So I was very young. I was a very young kid, and I used to go along with him. And when I get there, I'll see children with ringworm on their head. I'll see children with all sorts of things. I'll see adults with different ailments. And I used to tell myself, maybe what I should do is read medicine so that when my dad is going out for his humanitarian work and missionary work, I can just add what is missing, because he would take food, he would take clothing, but he never took drugs. And every time I went there, I saw children with all sorts. Sometimes they have scabies on their hands, they have all sorts of things. And I knew these are things I could help. As soon as I got into medical school, in fact, I became a mini doctor, because as he's going out for his missionary outreach, I would just buy those things and go and treat them. And it will work. It would not.
So it's safe to say you've always had passion for improving the lives of others.
Exactly. That's the passion that has always driven me. And then,
Betta Edu, let's take a look at the women bill that was thrown out. Or maybe we call it the gender bill. Had we had the gender bill in place, right, we would have been able to at least be guaranteed of one woman representation across. But we didn't have it. It was thrown out. For you as the APC Women Leader in the 10th House of Assembly, in the 10th National Assembly, right? That has already gone. We can't talk about it again. What are the options available to the women? Or are we going to continue with this minimal representation, across Africa, Kenya, Rwanda? They have better women representation, but it appears that Nigerian men are not ready.
So I think it was the saddest thing that happened in the 9th Assembly, that the gender bill did not fly. And I'm very confident that the 10th Assembly would make amends to that, revisit it. However, I think before that bill is sent back to the National Assembly, some touch-ups need to happen.
Okay, but then could it also have been a lack of proper understanding of the bill?
Definitely. So a lack of proper understanding on the part of the men, to an extent, poor advocacy and lobbying at that level for the bill to go through. So sometimes there's something called subtle pressure. So rather than using forceful pressure on them to try to get it done, there's the subtle pressure that we can put with continuous advocacy, continuous engagement with the different legislative arms, and of course, meeting with the leadership. And this has to be spearheaded by the women who are in the National Assembly themselves. It's very unfortunate that we have very limited representation of women in the National Assembly, but we have some he for she's who should be able to stand up to the occasion to say, indeed, it's about time we have a legal framework that women can survive on.
Let's look at President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He's been president for almost, we'll call it, he's been president for about 2 months, right? About 2 months now. How would you rate him? I don't expect you to rate him otherwise, though, but how would you rate him?
No, I'm being very, very objective.
Okay, how would you rate him?
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has done so well in his first 2 months in office. From the first hour that he was sworn in as president, he took decisions that almost no other president had their guts and effrontery to take. Like jumping straight into the storm. Of course, you would expect a pushback because they are people who have fed from this year in, year out. They are beneficiaries of this lacuna in the system.
Perhaps that's why he said that the poor breathe.
Exactly. I'll take up the issue of the fuel subsidy removal. And the question I like to ask, and I keep asking, is who are we subsidizing? Are we subsidizing the other countries around us in Central Africa and West Africa? Are those who we're subsidizing? How many people in my village own cars?
But then they have to transport food. They have to move.
How many of them move food? How many of them transport things? How many? Let's be very sincere.
Right. Okay, let's look at some of his promises to women while campaigning. What should the women look forward to with that? And also the youth, because you represent both demography, right? The youth and the women. What should the youth and the women look forward to, as the the current dispensation continues to thrive? What should it look
as long as it's a President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, it's women o'clock, it's youth o'clock. I can say that with all the confidence that I know.
Amazing.
And I'm saying this because the president is one who understands the role that women play in the development of our nation. He has always relied on women to move his policies forward. He has always worked with women to bring about development and move things to greater heights. Remember, he started off by running with a woman as his vice, his deputy, He went ahead to, of course, get the head of judiciary during his time, head of civil service. They were all women. These are women who he used to drive the system in Lagos and achieve the desired stability and result in the economy, making it the fifth economy in Africa today. So he knows the great role women play. Already in his appointment, which he has made so far in the special advisors, women have 40% already, as he promised. Oh, yes. He promised less than 40%, and he has over-delivered for women. Oh, yes. He said he would do the 35%, but he's appointed 10 people. And in the 10 persons who were appointed as his special advisors, women have 4. That's 40%. So he's even gone and forward. So even trying to cage an Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, our dear president, into the 35% affirmative action might just be shooting yourself in the leg or demanding for too little when he's ready to offer more. So Nigerian women are rest assured that he would give us that central place, that front row in government.
I see the picture of the First Lady right here in your living room, right? And I'm wondering, what's the relationship?
She's my mother, and she's the mother of Nigeria. She's a very exposed, highly cerebral and intelligent, and very seasoned politician, of course, a very God-fearing woman. She has an unbeatable record which she encourages other women to try to beat. One is the fact that she is the first woman that has consecutively been in the Senate for 3 terms. The first woman. The second one is that she has had very impactful programs in Lagos as a first lady. And so for us, it's a blessing from God and another opportunity for her to get back on the saddle of leadership at a higher level and really impact lives. Of course, she has launched her Renewed Hope initiative. I'm a member of the gathering board and also director of health in the Renewed Hope initiative. And it's just her personal NGO to see how she can really bring succor to families in Nigeria. Of course, government has a lot which they're supposed to do, but definitely there are going to be those little lacunas here and there, especially when it concerns women and children. And her, we feel that she has about 5 points: education, economic empowerment, social investment. Of course, she's looking at health and agriculture to see how she can really contribute positively to these various areas.
Let's look at the home front. And hormones, of course. Women have this cyclical thing, that at the end of the day, sometimes they act in a way, and then you have to ask yourself, was that me or was that the hormones? Considering that you're a doctor, right? And you also have had to deal with women with this cyclical nature, and of course, the home front. How are you balancing all of it? And how did you encourage women to also balance it out?
It's important to have a balanced life as a woman. It's very important to have a balanced life as a woman. You must not joke with it. You must be able to hold family dear to you, to give you all the support when it's needed. You should also be able to balance work and create time for even God. You need to create time for your religion because, like they usually say, it's an opium. Religion is an opium of the people. It has a way of giving hope. It has a way of calming down your anxieties. It has a way of propelling you into higher ground. So a woman must be able to balance all of this, looking into her family, her children, how she can build a better home, because that's the foundation.
There are days, have there ever been days where you felt like, I am done, I can't do this anymore, and yet you still had to go on? How did you, especially for women who are out there, how did you scale that bend and continue? Because sometimes people look at you and feel, oh, Betta Edu has everything going for her. She had no problems. She probably is, just riding on eagle's wings and everything you get. But there are some people who, have challenges and they're saying to themselves, if only I could get all of what Betta has, then I will be fine. So how do you handle those down moments and those days where, like every other human being, you feel like I can't continue?
It's not easy to be in Betta Edu. That's the first one I need to tell you.
Okay.
But I think over time, I just have this ability to absorb a lot, tolerate a lot, absorb so much, hold up so much, and move on. I stay focused and consistent on the goal and keep moving and achieving new heights every day. Basically, it's the help of God. That's why I tell people to really hold on to God, because He has a way of just bringing back joy and giving you that push from within, that energy you need to go. It was, in a way,
there's nothing
very tricky.
Yeah, okay.
It was, in a way, very tricky when I had to move from practice of health into dealing with women, and then no. The switch was really very dramatic for me, but I think the main point was I told myself, what do I want to achieve? How can I achieve it? And when my time is done here, I'll be happy to take a bow and leave honorably. And
It's a good thing you mentioned when my time is done here. Beyond APC National Women Leader, what are you looking at?
Well, my biggest passion is actually to, at some point, after all of the politics and all of the things I can do for my country, to go to the UN.
No, the United Nations.
Affect lives of people globally. So I started from my state. I give in my all. I moved to the national. I'm happy to give in my all at different levels. And when I'm done with that, I'll go to the United Nations, where I would be able to affect lives of people across countries, across continents, and be a motivation for them, speak up for them, and really help them pull through.
All right. This is the final question of Spotlight with Kem Kem. And the question is, this is the final question on Spotlight with Kem Kem. Our last guest, Dr. Kuju, dropped a question for the next guest without knowing who the person will be. And the question was, how do we deal with corruption in Nigeria?
Fix the system.
How?
It's simple. Corruption only thrives when there's a lacuna in the system. When you fix the system, when you put checks and balances, controls, when you give people what is due them, then corruption would die a natural death. I'll give you an example. This is a lawyer, a barrister, who is in court or who works in the judiciary division, and that lawyer is not being paid, right? The lawyer is being paid peanuts, the lawyer is not given any allowance, nothing. You soon see that that lawyer will want to take bribe or take some money behind the counter just to be able to make ends meet for them and their families. You have a civil servant who is working in an office. You come to the office every day, the civil servant is not paying attention to you until you bring out some money and say, take this for transport. Then they begin to work. You're supposed to get in later. And they say, we don't have light. There's no gen, there's no paper. They give you all sorts of excuses until you say, okay, take this for. Suddenly light comes, suddenly the papers come. So if you want to fight corruption, you must fix the system. It's systematic. Once you can give people their due, and so they are paid enough to go beyond their
belly.
Good. Then you begin to see results and corruption is brought to the bearers.
Thank you very much, Dr. Betta Edu, for your time on Spotlight with Kem Kem. Before we go, you have to drop a question for the next guest. We don't know who it's going to be, but you just have to drop a question.
And my question will be, how can we get back to the days where every Nigerian loved the other Nigerian, whether they came from the north, the south, the east, or west, any tribe, any religion? How can we get back to those days where a Northerner can live in the south with all the peace, joy, and happiness and raise their kids? And then, of course, a Southerner can live in the north without the fear of being attacked, harassed, or losing their businesses. How can we get Nigeria?
Many thanks to you, Dr. Betta Edu, the APC National Women Leader, for your time and, of course, for the opportunity to have you on Spotlight with Kem Kem. As you go on, we wish you all the best, and dreams do come true. Okay. May your dream of being in the UN come true, and very quickly too.
Thank you so much.
Have a great day.
Many thanks to you for watching Spotlight with Kem Kem today. Of course, we're bringing you another very interesting guest in a bit. And don't forget the question Dr. Betta Edu has dropped for the next guest. My name is Kemi Ashekun, and I'll see you next time.
Over the years, employability has moved from what you studied to what you can do. Knowledge that cannot be applied is useless in today's world. That is why at Summit University Offa, Sun Offa, owned by Ansarudin Society of Nigeria, our goal is not to produce only employable graduates, but to graduate entrepreneurs and job creators who shine in their world like the products of Sun Offa that they are. Enroll today by visiting www.summituniversity.edu.ng. Inter-university transfer is also available for undergraduates willing to complete their studies at Summit University Offa. Sun Offa. We shine like the sun.
we were not part of that strike. CONWA is not part of that strike of ASU. And in fact, I must say at this point that method of CONWA is to prosecute issues in the university will not be through strike actions.
How would it be?
Because you don't need to search much to know that strike actions has done more damage than good to our universities.